My name is Paul Jenkins. I am a comic book, video game, animated film creator. This is sort of the nerve center in here. You know, I live and breathe in this place. This is one of my favorite books called Theatre of War by Captain America. Wolverine popping his claws. I knew I wanted to be creative for a living and I didn't really have the focus. But I met a couple of guys who lived in Northampton, Massachusetts. They happened to have a black and white comic book that they'd created, and it was called the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This place was called Mirage Studios, and it was a tiny, tiny little place. And I was put in charge of the production of the books. Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird were great guys. But I found that I didn't think I could be an editor or a publisher anymore. I thought that was pretty much it. So I decided that I would try to become a comic book writer. I was very frustrated with the lack of effort that I felt was presented in American comics. There was no theme. It was not about relationships between families or things that we really actually read stories for. Instead, it was about giant robots and people punching each other. And I thought, you know, I can bring something to this. So I broke into comics as a writer the only way that you cannot break into comics. And then one day I got a phone call from a friend of mine called Jay Lee. And he calls me up and says, I got this call from Marvel and they're doing a thing called Marvel Knights, which is this new imprint they're doing. And they want me to be involved. And I told them I'd like to be involved with you. How do you feel about doing the Inhumans? And I said, that would be great. I'd love to do the Inhumans. Who are they? So they sent me 2 4-page stories that were done by Jack Kirby, and I thought, this is great. I can see these people. They're all like metaphors. We used all these metaphors and we built this incredible thing that was supposed to show the melting pot that is America. And it won an Eisner Award for Marvel. They handed Joe the job as editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics, and they handed me the keys to the Hulk and Spider-Man and said, okay, do interesting things. I had been writing the Darkness comic book for Top Cow. Jackie Estacado, the main character, lost his mother and father, so he was an orphan. In his life then he gets this power inside him called the Darkness, and it's almost like I felt it should be a curse, you know. And at its core, what I wanted to do with the Darkness story in the comic books was to tell the story of how he loved a girl whose name was Jenny. I was approached to do the video game, and at this point I think I had very, very strong feelings about what storytelling should be in a video game. The girl has to die, and you have to feel the emotion of her death as a player. When you finally get to kill Uncle Paulie, it feels like something because of your love for Jenny. The reviews had come in so tremendously for the characterization and the cinematic experience and storytelling. That's how you mesh storytelling and gameplay. Very complicated, but it's the future of video games.
I never asked for the darkness, but now it's mine to control.